Good afternoon. My name is Daryl Cullen. I'm the Director of Financial Aid here at Five Branches University at the San Jose campus, and I'll be going over a short presentation on how to apply for financial aid for those students that wish to apply for financial aid to fund their education while they're here. Once again, my name is Daryl Cullen. My email address is sjfinaid@fivebranches.edu, and my phone number is 408-260-0208. We're going to go over some fundamentals of financial aid and how they work for you and what you need to do. When we package you for financial aid here at Five Branches University, we package you based on a cost of attendance. And in that cost of attendance, it includes your tuition and fees, room and board, transportation, books and supplies, and personal or miscellaneous living expenses. And when you add those all up together, that's what's called your cost of attendance. And when we package you based on 2 terms at a time. So 2 semesters equals 1 academic year with the federal government. This is our standard budget for our master's, our FPD and DTCM program. And if you look at the middle column, that's what the cost of attendance is per semester. And on the far right column, that's what it is per academic year, which is every 2 semesters. So this isn't necessarily saying this is what you're actually going to be paying, but this is what we've created as our budget per term, and it's the same for every single student. So you may not be paying $2,000 per month in room and board. You may be paying less, hopefully, here in the Bay Area. But we kind of took an average, and this is what we came up with is $2,000 per month, $500 for books and supplies, $1,200 for transportation, and $800 for personal expenses, and $400 for loan fees. Now, you may notice the tuition line of $7,500, and we use an average, and we don't use actual costs. So your first few semesters, you may be paying quite a bit less depending on how many units you actually take. So this is why we encourage students that they should use the in-school budget calculators, and you can find these on any federal servicer website and as well as the Department of Education website. And so we really encourage students to make sure that you create a budget, and then if you are going to decide to take out any of the federal loans, that you budget yourself and that you only take out what you actually need. Because remember, anything that you take out in federal loans, it's going to accumulate interest, and you have to pay it back once you go into repayment. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you don't burden yourself with a lot of debt, and that you only take out what you need in order to fund your education. We understand that students may need to cover all their expenses, so that's why we have this budget. So it is there for you. So if you need to utilize the whole budget, great, but we just want to make sure that you really pay attention to how much you're actually borrowing. And this is our cost of attendance for our GAOM program. If you notice that the tuition is $33.33, and the room and board is a little bit less because we kind of fund it only for the weekend that you're here. And also too, the loan fees are a little bit less, and the transportation is a little bit higher. So the cost of attendance for the master's program is $18,400, and the cost of attendance per semester is $14,303 for our doctoral program. Now, if you do want to apply for financial aid, the first form that you would actually need to submit is the FAFSA, and the website is www.fafsa.ed.gov. Please make sure that you do not go to a .com website, because the FAFSA.com is not associated with the Department of Education, and it's a pay site. And anything education related is always free. So that's why they call it the free application for federal student aid. So once you're on the FAFSA website, you're going to see a list of tabs, and one of the top tabs is FSA ID. And you want to apply for this FSA ID because it's going to allow you to sign your documents electronically, as well as your FAFSA, your master promissory notes. And then once you submit and receive your FSA ID and you submit the FAFSA, you want to make sure that you submit the Five Branches University supplemental form, because that lets us know that you're interested in receiving an award letter from us. And then also too, we don't send out any award letter information unless you've actually been admitted to the university. Now, once you're on the FAFSA website and you click the FSA ID tab, it'll take you to this website. And your students need to apply for this, because if you decide to turn in everything by paper electronic signature, it could take up to 6 weeks for the Department of Education to process that. If you submit everything with the FSA ID, it takes about 2 to 4 days for the Department of Education to process everything. You can use your FSA ID to renew your FAFSA on the web, to make any corrections, to do your exit counseling on NSLDS, which is National Student Loan Database System. You can use it to sign your promissory notes, as well as apply and sign the promissory note for a Graduate Plus loan. One of the reasons why we offer federal loans as opposed to private loans is typically there's better benefits and there's more protections through the federal government. One of the benefits is you don't have to pay until 6 months after your last day of attendance. It's usually lower interest rates in the private student loans. A credit record is not needed unless you apply for the federal Graduate Plus loan. Even though the federal Graduate Plus loan is a federal loan, it is credit-based, but they only look at your adverse credit history. They do not look at your FICO score, debt-to-income ratio, or total loan volume, only your adverse credit history. And with the unsubsidized staffer loans, a cosigner is never needed. By completing the FAFSA lets us know if you're eligible for the federal loan program. And typically those requirements are you're a U.S. citizen and eligible non-citizen, you're not in active bankruptcy, and you're not in default on a previous student loan. The only time a cosigner may be needed is on a Graduate Plus loan. That is if you're not creditworthy, meaning that you have adverse credit history. And once you apply for the federal Graduate Plus loan, it'll give you 2 options, or actually 3. It'll tell you if you're approved or if you're declined. And if you're declined, it'll give you an option to appeal the decision or submit with a cosigner. Now, this is just a breakdown of the difference between the subsidized and unsubsidized staffer loan, which is in the first or the second column to the right. And then the third column to the right is the federal Graduate Plus loan information, and the difference between the 2 federal loans and a private loan, which is in the far right column. The current interest rate for the unsubsidized staffer loan is 5.31% and 6.31% for the Graduate Plus loan. On private student loans, those interest rates are usually variable. On the unsubsidized staffer loan, you never need a cosigner. And you only need one if you have poor credit, which is adverse credit history on the Graduate Plus loan. And most likely, if you're not working and you try to apply for a private loan, you most likely would need a cosigner on that. Now, the federal government deducts loan processing fees before they send the school the money to apply towards your tuition. And on the unsubsidized staffer loan, that is 1.069% that they deduct from the loan before they send it to the school. And on the Graduate Plus loan, that is 4.276% that they deduct prior to sending those funds to the school. Now, there's a cap of how much you are able to borrow per academic year on the unsubsidized staffer loan, and the amount is $20,500, and that's for every 2 semesters. So if you were attending the fall semester, for fall spring, you would receive $20,500, and then for summer fall, you would receive another $20,500. There is no cap on the Graduate Plus loan, meaning that there's not an aggregate loan limit, but there is a cap of up to the cost of attendance. Now, what I had said earlier, the cost of attendance per semester is $18,400 for the master's program, and you can apply for and receive the full amount of the Graduate Plus loan. That is if you reached your aggregate loan limit on your unsubsidized staffer loan. If you have eligibility for the unsubsidized staffer loan, we would have to process that first before processing a Graduate Plus loan because it's lower interest rate, and we have to process a loan that benefits the student the most. Once you go into repayment, typically both of those unsubsidized staffer loan and the Graduate Plus loans have a 6-month grace period from the last day of attendance, or you drop below half-time status. Now, also too, we encourage students to look for outside scholarships, and a couple of the scholarships search databases are fastweb.com, scholarships.com, and collegeboard.com. On several of these sites, you just need to learn how to filter them out by either field of study, by women's group, alternative healing, alternative health, holistic health. There are quite a few scholarships out there, and we encourage you to apply for as many as possible because the worst thing you could be told is no, and you're only out a little bit of your time. Now, one thing I want to make sure is you'll probably get a lot of emails from third-party vendors that say, we could do this scholarship search for you. These are pay sites, and you will most likely not see a return, and you will most likely find the exact same information that they will look for you on these websites. Now, if you have any questions regarding the financial aid process, we know it's a lot of information, and we just ask that you read this information. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. I'd be more than happy to go over that information with you. It is a lot, and I want to make sure that you understand before you take out any of the federal loan programs. And it can be very confusing, especially if you haven't applied for financial aid before, or if you haven't applied for financial aid in a while. And we just want to make sure that if you are taking out the federal loan program, that you do monitor yourself on how much you are borrowing, and we really encourage you to use in-school budget calculators to make sure that you don't overborrow, and that way you're only borrowing what you need. A lot of students see that the full amount is available to them, and they automatically take that out, not necessarily stating that they actually need the funds, but it was available. So we want to really encourage you just to make sure that, I can't reiterate it enough, that if you don't need it, don't borrow it. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining this session. My name is Daryl Cullen, and please do not hesitate to contact me anytime through email or telephone. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions for you. Thank you very much.